Hello, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of Spincast. Today, we are talking about collegiate esports once again, really lengthening this series and really highlighting all the great things that there are currently in collegiate esports and to come shortly. So, today we have Willie SPRATT with us. He is the head esports coach at Lincoln College. And today, we're going to just, like I said, talk about collegiate esports and kind of see where the conversation takes us today. So, Willie, go ahead, introduce yourself. Tell us a little bit about your background, how you got into esports, and how that led you to becoming a head esports coach at Lincoln College.
Yeah, so it was actually a really kind of long, drawn out backstory. I won't really bore you with all the small details, but basically that I'm a junior in Lincoln College right now. Was student advisor for 2 years. I worked in politics for 6, 7 years. It's always been a passion of mine. Esports is something that I've worked on for like maybe the last 7 years, but the thing about mostly me was mostly when I was doing my esports grind and my competitive life cycle. I was really only playing one game that entire time, and it was called Smite. So Smite is a game that I've always played was ever since I was probably like 13 or 14 years old. I've been a top 50 player at some point. I've been in the minor league before. I've just played a lot of different levels of competitive Smite. So when I got to my freshman year of college, I was like, okay, well, I'm already pretty good at Smite. And I wanted to see what the collegiate esports scene was looking like. Because at that time, it was just starting to really take off. It was $50,000 prize pool for my first tournament that I was flown out to. I ended up creating a team of mostly some of my retired pro friends that I've known just from being in the scene for 7, 8 years. I've known, I
Mm-hmm.
just know a lot of people. So
Mm-hmm.
I was able to create a team. And from that, I won my first AVGL championship. I went on to win one more after that. And after I won my second AVGL championship, I was working with the student government that had been a part of for a couple of years to really kind of direct the future of what I wanted the esports program to look like. So I started working on it. I started talking to different directors. I started talking to the president of the school quite regularly about it. My school ended up spending $60,000 to $70,000 on the program. Really finding, I said, what they did was amazing. The computers, the hardware we have, it's all thanks to the school. So after I got that off the ground, we had a first coach initially, a great guy. He unfortunately had something come up and he had to go work for the state. So after he had left, I went to the school. I approached them. I'm in my junior year at this point, and I told them that I'd be more than happy to take over the program because I think I know where the direction needs to go. I think I know the skills necessary to really transform the program to where I know it could be, and I thought
Mm-hmm.
I would be the best person for that job. So I communicated that, and they completely agreed with me, and they ended up promoting me to head esports coach. So now I'm going into my senior year, just turned 21, the head esports coach of the program. So that's kind of how I got here.
Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah, definitely have that common theme that I find a lot in this podcast series is that dedication and ambition and passion that drives people to create their esports programs from almost nothing. Right? You started your own at Lincoln College and took it amongst yourself to like, hey, I know the direction we want to go in. Let's go from there, and that's fantastic. That's something that's very common in esports, and I absolutely love to see it day in and day out. So you talked a lot about that direction that you know that the program needs to go in, right? So elaborate a little bit more on that. So what
Yeah.
direction do you want to see your program develop into as you continue to pursue those championships collegiately?
So what I want my program to be and the overarching schools program overall is to be a kind of a place where you're not looking for just competitive gaming. I'm aware I'm a competitive gamer and I know the grind, the dedication, the effort it takes to be a competitive player. I was a competitive player for 6, 7 years.
Mm-hmm.
Be a competitive gamer. I was a competitive gamer for several years. I know the dedication it takes, the grind, the motivation it takes to be a competitive gamer. But that being said, everybody's not going to be a competitive gamer. Everybody doesn't want to spend 7, 8 hours competitive gaming grinding, which there are the certain few obviously that we do that with. But the program itself, I want it to be an open area. I want you can come in, you can play Smash if you want to. You can come in, you can play NBA 2K, you can play Madden, you can play Fortnite, Overwatch, Hearthstone. You can play any game you want, and I want a space that created people a feeling of gaming in general, not just a feeling of competitive gaming.
Mm-hmm.
And that's something that I'm really trying to design the program around is somewhere where you can come in and you can just kind of relax and play games for 4 or 5 hours after you get done doing homework. You can bring your friends in and just have a casual tournament, after one of the classes. A kind of
Mhm.
open feel, if you will, to kind of
Mhm.
the program. But at the same time, we do focus on our competitive aspect because, like I said, that's huge for me. The competitive aspect of gaming is something that uh, I look forward to teaching people. I love it. It's just because once you do dedicate yourself to gaming and you do dedicate yourself to that grind, anything is possible.
Mhm.
I'm proof of that. I'm proof that you don't have to be the most mechanically sound player, the best player in the world. You can be a
Mhm.
player that works hard, and eventually you'll get there. And
Mhm.
if someone were to come in and tell me that a freshman year that they wanted to become, a competitive gamer, they're gonna have to work on to get to on the JV team, then the varsity team. The Rocket League team was doing great last semester. We're working on our competitive Rocket League team. They're all about plat diamond level.
Mhm.
Working on the Smite team, of course. We're working on our Overwatch team, our Call of Duty team. But that being said, though, um, I'm the kind of person, and I want the program to acknowledge that I don't know about every single competitive game. It's not possible.
Mhm.
I have
Yeah,
other
there are
coaches
too
that I
many.
rely on heavily. There's too many. Yeah, it's like it's just too. Obviously, I keep up with the competitive scene and I watch the big tournaments, but it's just too many for me to be
Mhm.
an expert on everything. My
Yeah.
expertise is MOBA specifically, so that'd be League of Legends and Smite. But I have different coaches that expertise in their certain games, like the Call of Duty coach, Rashad Stansel. Wow, that guy, he knows his shooting games. Like, if you talk
Yeah.
to him, you have a conversation with him, he's talking about the just the different kind of branding that's in Call of Duty right now. The franchisee, the Chicago
Mhm.
Huntsman, he's a
Mhm.
great guy. And I
Yeah.
have a Smash coach that talks about the different meta and shifting. Sometimes I don't know what he's talking about, but
Yeah.
I'm aware of the competitive scene of fighting game coaches. So at Lincoln College, I want it to be a place where you're coming in and you're understanding that there's multiple levels to the program.
Mhm. Yeah, for sure. I love that well-rounded approach to gaming, right? You have your casual gamers, the kids that just want to have fun, right? Find a home on campus, so to say, where they can have fun with their friends after class on the weekends or whatever. Then also still that space for the competitive side because there's casual gaming and then there's esports, and they're two different worlds, right? You got your competitive side, like you said, that grinding mentality, just as much as varsity athletes, right? The exact same
Mm-hmm.
thing, right? If you play esports competitively, collegiately, and I'm sure you agree, it's the exact same as playing football collegiately or baseball collegiately or basketball collegiately with the amount of work and the work
Yeah.
ethic and the effort that goes into developing yourself and your team to that championship level. So yeah, that's incredible. I love to see that
Yeah.
for sure. So go in a little more detail about that space. So like I know you touched on it earlier about your university or college bought you all these college or I'm just stumbling over myself today. All these computers and technology and hardware. So are you developing
hmm
an arena or have an arena currently, or what are your plans to see something like that come into fruition soon?
Yeah. So right now we have an arena. We are kind of expanding the arena because this is just my first semester taking over the esports program. So I had a given space. They've given us a little bit more space to really kind of stretch our arms a little bit. So the arena is currently getting expanded, but we have 13 high level gaming computers. We are sponsored by why am I forgetting the name? The name's escaping me right now. My bad. Let me look at something really quick because I got to make sure I get the name right. Because I am. Oh, I'm sorry. All right.
It's all good.
Yeah. Can I start back from that?
Mhm.
Yeah. So we are currently sponsored by MSI. They take care. They have a partnership with the school already, so they kind of take care of any gaming needs we need. So they give us the headphones. You have the mouse pads, mouses, obviously the computers. Um, So the esports arena is getting expanded a little bit, but it's already in place as of right now. Yes.
Awesome, awesome, awesome. Love to hear it. Those are such cool spaces that I start to see them pop up everywhere in all the series of collegiate podcasts. They're so cool. They're really open to students, and I love to see that. So I think that's one thing that collegiately, at least, a lot of gamers don't have that home on campus, right? They're stuck in their dorm room. They only play with a few friends, which is great, but they don't have that like place to go to on campus to feel like they're at home when in their collegiate years were just so important for some of these students. So yeah, love it. Kind of moving on, we talked a lot about this grind and dedication to competitive esports. So talk to us a little bit about how you address your players as the head esports coach in developing that grind and determination and work ethic as they, go on to win championships, like you yourself has done so much with Smite.
Yeah, so it's kind of to me, my athletes. I want them to have a clear understanding, though, that although esports important and esports is what we are currently focused on at the school, there is life after esports.
Mhm.
There's going to be something after that, and I think developing these skills, it's more skills you develop just from playing competitive, the lifestyle it teaches, the structure that's in place. I like to tell some of my athletes, like my MOBA players that I'm directly working with a lot more,
Mhm.
that nothing happens overnight.
Mhm.
You're not going to become the next huge Smite player, the next huge League of Legends players overnight. Those players, if you watch their streams, they're streaming 12, 13, 14 hours a day. They're playing 14 hours. They're streaming maybe 6, and they're playing 14. And
Mhm.
they're doing it because they enjoy the game. They enjoy the grind. They enjoy getting better. If you don't genuinely enjoy wanting to get better and improving at your craft, then you're not truly going to get better. You're going to be in a place where you feel like it's a job and it's a chore. And I don't want that for
Mhm.
any of my players. And I
Mhm.
make that very clear and apparent from day one, that if it feels like it's becoming a chore and it feels like you don't really feel like you are truly improving, I want you to come talk to me personally. I truly do care about every single one of my players, and I want them to have the best experience at college, and that be with esports program or on another role with the esports program. The esports program to me, and especially under my division, so league and Smite, particularly because that's the one I work with way more
Mhm.
than all the rest.
Mhm.
Um, it's kind of a quote that I kind of show everyone and try to explain what it means and what it means to me. It's, you work until your idols become rivals. And I take that to heart. That's what the same thing
Mhm.
I did. That's the same thing I teach my players. That's what I did, for 6, 7 years, is when you have your idols, you have the ones that'll teach you, for actions. For me, that would be like Polar Bear Mike, Aurora, which are huge, Smite players. I
Mhm.
learn from their actions. I've watched them. I study them. I've seen their pathing. And I share that knowledge with my players. If you just find someone that you want to be like and you want to model your game after, then it's completely achievable. It's completely achievable as long as you put in the grind and I show them how the grind works. That being said, there is a work life grind.
Mhm.
So school, obviously, you have to maintain a good GPA. I work
Mhm.
pretty closely with all the teachers. You gotta inform me if there's a class you're struggling on, and we'll figure it out together. We're at the end of the day, we're a team. If you're struggling and you're not understanding something and you're not getting it, then I need to know that so I know what I need to be able to do to help you. And I want my esports, especially my competitive team, the competitive team has to be like a family because you have to trust each other. If you don't trust each other in competitive gaming, no matter what team you're on, you'll never be successful. You have to trust your teammates. You have to trust them,
Mhm.
and they have to trust you.
Yeah, for sure. Absolutely love all those points you just touched on. I want to break down a few of them here. We got about 5 minutes left before we have to wrap up, unfortunately. But all those skills and talents, work ethic, teamwork, having that trust in your teammates, respecting each other, making sure you have that work-life balance, and knowing how to schedule your studies with competitive gaming, with your social life, with making sure you're getting enough sleep and you're eating right. So all that balanced approach all together, those talents and skills is something that a lot of people need, moving to the next step in their life, right? Whether that's pursuing professional esports, whether that's becoming part of these professional esports from a non-playing role, a coach, an analyst, part of the production crew, part of casting, part of marketing, advertising, so many opportunities there. You develop all those skills, and it seems like here at Lincoln College, you develop them even more so, at the program, which is absolutely phenomenal. And I love to see that important shed on those aspects, because it goes such a long way for those kids as they continue to grow, and mature into the workforce, which is fantastic. I do have one last question for you before we do have to wrap up. Looking at,
Mhm.
or for the audience out there, right? A lot of high school students, a lot of middle school students that have these passions in gaming, but they're not quite sure what to do with it, right? They don't know how to take it to the next level. They don't know what they should focus on, because especially at that age, there's just not a lot of resources out there for them, um, to guide them like there is in youth baseball or youth basketball or any kind of other sport. So, what advice would you have for them and to help them
You're breaking up a
getting to
little
that?
bit. I can't
Am I
I can't hear you very well.
am I breaking up? Is it better now?
Yeah, you were breaking up. Yeah, you were breaking up.
Okay.
Yeah, it's starting to get better.
Okay, you're good. Okay, I'll start, or I'll repeat the question.
Mhm.
So, looking for the high school and the middle school students, what advice would you have for them to help them take their game and their passions to the next level to get into the collegiate programs? What little things should they focus on, give more time and work towards, so they ultimately get better so they can go pursue playing at the collegiate level?
Yeah. So when I go to any of my high schools, when I'm going to any middle school, and I'm going to anywhere, and I'm talking to younger players, players that potentially could have a future in esports, I
Hmm.
like to let them know that it's okay to lose. Like, you don't know how I took. People won't remember your losses when you become a great player. That's all. That's something that I really do stress. I'd
Hmm.
lost for 6, 7 years, 6, 7 years straight. I'd be just constantly losing. It's all about mentality. If you're taking we choose to learn what we want from an experience.
Hmm.
That being said, if you are focusing on your losses, then you'll never really grow. You have to lose to win. All the great players, they had to lose. They
Hmm.
had their they have to you have to put in your hours. It's something where that I have learned to take pride in, that I hope to that all my players do too. That losing is just the next
Hmm.
step to winning. You have to lose to win. From your losses, you take no matter what game it is, you're going to learn more through your losses than through your victory. Because a victory means you executed well. A loss means there's something that you need to improve on yourself. You know,
Exactly.
um, yeah. So that's kind of what I tell younger players all the time. Is just that you can't focus on losing. Losing is a part of whatever game you're playing. It's just you have to lose a football, you lose in basketball, the greatest teams in the world, they lose. It's
Hmm.
inevitable. You can't win every single time. It's impossible. But you
Yep.
just need to execute when it matters.
Exactly. And developing that mindset where you look at those losses in that positive light, like you were saying, to like go back, analyze what went wrong so I can execute more efficiently in the future so I can win those rounds, win those maps, win those games when the time comes to win those championship matches for sure. Absolutely love it. Unfortunately, that is all the time we have for today. Willie, thank you for joining us. I think we had a phenomenal conversation and really shedding some light on a number of topics to help our younger students as they build their esports portfolio moving forward. So real quick, tell us where we can find yourself, where we can find Lincoln College if we want to know a little bit more about what's going on there at Lincoln.
Yeah. So what you want to do, if you want to contact me, you can contact me at williesprat77@gmail.com, and that's WILLIE. You can text my phone 618-606-8171. If you want any information about the program of Lincoln College, go to lincolncollege.edu, and you can go to the coaches tab, and it's going to show you the esports program through that way as well.
Awesome. Great
Oh,
to
and
hear.
oh,
You're
also follow me on Twitch, WolfKing77. I stream sometimes whenever I got a free minute, and I still
Yeah.
play Smite, every once in a while. So
Awesome. Awesome. Be fun to watch. All right. Once again, thank you to all our listeners out there. Thank you for joining in. For everyone out there, healthy, stay happy in these unprecedented and difficult times with the current pandemic. Make sure you take care of yourself and your loved ones, and ultimately, stay plugged in. All right.